Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, the activities of Maharaj Priyavrat. Text number 14 onwards. So Lord Brahma is speaking to Maharaj Priyavrat, trying to convince him to take up his duties as a king. Yadvachi tantyam guna karma damavi sudustarer vatsavayam suyojitaha sarve vahama balim ishvaraya rota nasiv dvipade chatushpadaha. My dear boy, all of us are bound by the Vedic injunctions to the divisions of Varnashram according to our qualities and work. These divisions are difficult to avoid because they are scientifically arranged. We must therefore carry out our duties of Varnashram dharma like bulls obliged to move according to the direction of a driver pulling on ropes knotted to their noses. In this verse, the words Tandayam Guna Karma Damabhi are very important. We each get a body according to our association with the gunas, the qualities or modes of material nature, and we act accordingly. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the four orders of the social system, namely Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, are arranged according to guna and karma, their qualities and work. There is some controversy about this, however, because some say that since one receives a body according to the guna and karma of his past life, it is one's birth that determines his social status. Others say, however, that one's birth according to the guna and karma of past life is not the essential consideration, since one can change his guna and karma even in this life. Thus they say that the four divisions of the social order, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, should be arranged according to the guna and karma of this life. This version is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam by Narad Muni. While instructed Maharaj Yudhishthira about the symptoms of guna and karma, Narad Muni said that these symptoms must govern the divisions of society. So this we will study in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam. A detailed discussion between Narad Muni and Maharaj Yudhishthira is given. In other words, if a person born in the family of a Brahman has the symptoms of a Shudra, he should be designated as a Shudra. Similarly, if a Shudra has Brahminical qualities, or Shudra means if a person born in Shudra family has Brahminical qualities, he should be designated as a Brahman. So Varnashram system based on guna and karma of this life. But sometimes people do argue that based on the guna and karma of previous lives, we get the body or birth in a particular family in this life. So that is a caste system. So they say, according to caste, according to the family you're born in, that determines your caste or varnashram. But that's not true, not according to Narad Muni, and not according to the scriptures either. So that is the guna and karma of this life, because that can be changed from whatever we were born. Just like we'll study about Parshuram, Vishwamitra Muni, even in those ages where it was very much certain that if you're born in the family of a Kshatriya, your chances are, because that qualities, the semen of the father used to be so powerful that the qualities would go with the father to his son. But still, one still had to develop those qualities in that particular life to qualify as either a Brahman or a Vaishya or Kshatriya or a Shudra. In Kali Yuga, nothing is certain. Nothing. It's such a bad age, actually, especially for Varnashram system. So anybody can be born anywhere. Just like if we look at in America only, anybody and everybody has a chance to become the president of United States, no matter which family you were born in. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is show some qualities. Of course, nowadays it has become even lower than the usual qualities that earlier presidents had at the time of founding of America. Especially if I believe it was Abraham Lincoln who basically, if I'm not wrong, if I read about him correctly, wonderful president of America. He led America through many difficult times, but it is said that nobody knew about his father, who his father was. So guna and karma of this life is more important. Anybody can develop, no matter what one is born in, but anybody can develop different guna and do different activities. The Varnashram system is scientific. Therefore, if we accept the divisions of Varna and Ashram according to the Vedic instructions, our lives will be successful. Unless human society is thus divided and arranged, it cannot be perfect. Because whatever is perfect is given in the scriptures. We do something against the scriptures, we cannot do anything perfectly. As stated in Vishnu Puran, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is worshipped by the proper execution of prescribed duties in the system of Varna and Ashram. There is no other way to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One must be situated in the institution of the four Varnas and Ashrams. All of human society is meant to worship Lord Vishnu. At the present moment, however, human society does not know that this is the ultimate goal or perfection of life. Therefore, instead of worshipping Lord Vishnu, people have been educated to worship matter. According to the direction of modern society, men think they can advance in civilization by manipulating matter to build skyscrapers, big roads, automobiles, and so on. Such a civilization must certainly be called materialistic, because its people do not know the goal of life. The goal of life is to reach Vishnu, but instead of reaching Vishnu, people are bewildered by the external manifestation of the material energy. Therefore, progress and material advancement is blind, and the leaders of such material advancement are also blind. They are leading their followers in the wrong way. So Varnashram system was very scientific, but the society has deviated from that. And the purpose of Varnashram system was everybody gets a chance to worship Lord Vishnu. Everybody gets an understanding of worshiping Lord Vishnu while executing their prescribed duties of particular Varna and Ashram. If a person has Shudra tendencies, and if we give him a work, whether by politics or whether by some other, by hook or crook, he gets the work of a Brahmin, thinking, oh, as a Brahmin, I can work and I'll get lots of respect in the society. First of all, he won't be at peace, he won't be doing his job properly, and he will be leading the people wrongly. And then at the same time, he won't be able to worship the Supreme Lord properly. If he works as a Shudra, provided nobody looks down upon Shudras, then he will be at peace and he can work properly and he can spend the rest of the time in serving Krishna. Because people have forgotten that is the most important goal of life, the only goal of life actually. And the goal of life has become how to make money. So whichever profession I can get where I can make more and more money, I take it up, and that's it. That's the goal of life, and that's how I get the respect also. Because people respect those who have money and power and position. That's where everything has gone topsy-turvy. And that's why it's how much we can build, how big a company I can have, how many employees work for me, and how many houses I have, and big and palatial houses I have, and how many cars I have. That has become the goal of life. But does that give one happiness? No. Does that give one satisfaction? No. And this is what the world is going into, running more and more after money and money and money and power and this and that, and it's creating more and more chaos all over the world. So what's the point in leading a life which gives us more and more frustration and tension and diseases, different kinds of diseases? And that too, even at the end, we don't know what the goal of life was. It is best, therefore, to accept the injunctions of the Vedas, which are mentioned in this verse as Yadvachi. In accordance with those injunctions, everyone should find out whether he is a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, and thus should be educated accordingly. Then his life will be successful. Otherwise, all of human society will be confused. If human society is divided scientifically according to Varna and Ashram, and if the Vedic directions are followed, one's life, regardless of his position, will be successful. It is not that Brahmins will be elevated to the transcendental platform, but not the Shudras. See? It's not that only Brahmins will be elevated to transcendental platform, not the Shudras. There's no such regulation, no such injunction. Anybody and everybody who can serve the Supreme, who develops devotional service, he can make progress. If the Vedic injunctions are followed, all of them, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, will be elevated to the transcendental platform, and their lives will be successful. The injunctions in the Vedas are explicit directions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The example cited in this verse is that bulls tied by ropes in their nostrils move according to the direction of the driver. Similarly, if we move according to the instructions of the Vedas, the perfect paths for our lives will be set. Otherwise, if we do not move in that way, but act according to our whimsical ideas, our lives will be spoiled by confusion and will end in despair. Actually, because people at the present moment are not following the instructions of the Vedas, they're all confused. We must therefore accept this instruction by Lord Brahma to Priyavrat as a factual scientific direction leading to the success of life. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. If we do not live according to the injunctions of the Shastras, the Vedas, we shall never achieve success in life, nor to say nothing of happiness or elevation to the higher statuses of living. So that is why Vedas are given, and this is what Brahmaji has come down, that according to your Varnashram setup, Priyavrat, you are a Kshatriya, you should rule, not just act like a Brahman and go for tapasya. Or at least not right now. Right now, you are in the age of, you should be entering Grihasthashram, not Vanprasthashram. So this is what Vedas are given for. Vedas, the Shastras are there to guide us properly in our lives, and Guru and Sadhu are two eyes by which or through which we can understand the Shastras, the scriptures. So now Brahmaji is acting as his Guru, and he already has sadhus over there, Narad Muni, Swambhuva Manu, Shivji, and so many other sages are there. And Brahmaji is basically also telling him that whatever I'm saying is, this is what the desire of the Supreme Lord is also the same. Isha abhisrishtam hi avarundha mahe anga dukham sukham va guna karma sangha asthaya tad yad yunkt nathash chakshush matandha ivniya manaha. My dear Priyavrat, according to our association with different modes of material nature, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives us our specific bodies and the happiness and distress we achieve. One must therefore remain situated as he is and be conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, exactly as a blind man is led by a person who has eyes with which to see. By material means, one cannot avoid the happiness and distress unique to his particular body. There are 8,400,000 bodily forms, each destined to enjoy and suffer a certain amount of happiness and distress. This we cannot change, for the happiness and distress are ordained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in accordance with whose decision we have received our bodies. Since we cannot avoid the plan of the Supreme Godhead, we must agree to be directed by him, just as a blind man is led by a person who has eyes. Under any circumstances, if we remain in the condition allotted to us by the Supreme Lord and follow his instructions, we will become perfect. The main purpose of life is to follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is such instructions that constitute one's religion or occupational duty. So Brahmaji is telling him that the body which we have received and the modes, whatever we are in, it's all planned, it's all given by the Supreme Lord. So all we have to do is follow his orders, and then our lives will be perfect. And basically saying we are all blind, only God has the eyes, so just follow him, follow his instructions, and we won't be just going here and there. In Bhagavad Gita, therefore, Lord Krishna says, Sarva dharman pariteje mam ekam sharanam braja. Give up all other engagements, simply surrender unto me and follow me. This process of surrendering by following the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not meant for any particular caste or creed. A Brahman can surrender, and so can a Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra. Everyone can adopt this process. As stated in this verse, one should follow the Lord in the way a blind man follows a person who has eyes. If we follow the Supreme Personality of Godhead by following the directions he gives in the Vedas and Bhagavad Gita, our lives will be successful. The Lord therefore says, Man manabha man bhakto, always think of me, become my devotee and offer respects and obeisances unto me. Then you will certainly come back home, back to Godhead. I promise you this because you're my very dear friend. This instruction is meant for everyone, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. If anyone from any division of life surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and follows his instructions, his life will be successful. So that's all we have to do. And this verse, Man mana bhav mad bhakto or sarv dharman pariteje, actually it's above the verse of varnashram system. There is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a wonderful conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. When Mahaprabhu was in the tour of his South India tour. So in South India, in the banks of Godavari, I believe, not Kaveri, I think it's Godavari. There is a place in Andhra Pradesh where he met Ramananda Rai. And beautiful conversation happened. Ramananda Rai was a great devotee, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya from Jagannath Puri asked Mahaprabhu, when you go there, you should meet him. Ramananda Rai was the governor of Madras at that time, and great devotee, and his incarnation of actually Vishakha Sakhi. So Mahaprabhu met him and asked him about the goal of life. And Ramananda Rai started from Varnashram. Mahaprabhu said, no, this is external. Tell me something more. So slowly kept on going, and he came to this shloka of Sarva Dharman Parteja. Mahaprabhu said, even this is external. Tell me something more. So from Varnashram, then Ramananda Rai went all the way to Madhurya Ras, Bhav, Madhurya Bhav of a Jiva with Krishna. That's a goal of life, to attain that. So then Mahaprabhu was very pleased. Yes, you have told the truth, but is there something more? And Ramananda Rai said, nobody has ever asked me, is there something beyond that? And then he describes further, which is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Prabhupada. Then he describes the qualities of Srimati Radharani, and that the only her bhav towards Krishna, that is the topmost perfection. But regardless, coming back, Varnashram system is great, but beyond that, if we attain a transcendental state of surrendering to Krishna, so then this Varnashram system doesn't apply. But still a person follows it to set a good example for the society. Otherwise there will be chaos in the society. So further Prabhupada says, the previous verse has given the analogy of bulls moving under the direction of the driver of a bullock cart. The bulls, being completely surrendered to the driver, remain wherever he wants to place them and eat whatever he wants them to eat. Similarly, being completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we should not aspire for happiness or regret distress. We must be satisfied with the position allotted to us by the Lord. We should follow the path of devotion service and not be dissatisfied with the happiness and distress he has given. People in the material modes of passion and ignorance generally cannot understand the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with its 8,400,000 forms of life. But the human form affords one the special privilege to understand this plan, engage in devotional service, and elevate oneself to the highest position of perfection by following the Lord's instructions. The entire world is working under the influence of the modes of material nature, especially ignorance and passion. But if people engage in hearing and chanting about the glories of the Supreme Lord, their lives can be successful and they can be elevated to the highest perfection. So this is what Prabhupada is saying. Basically, if we just surrender then and follow this devotional service path, then it hardly matters what Varna and what ashram. But but since Brahmaji has come down to Priyavrat and asking him to take up this position, so there has to be something serious about it. Otherwise, just like Arjun wanted to run away from the battlefield. Not that he was afraid, but he said, I cannot kill these people. And Krishna told him the whole Bhagavad Gita, told him the value of surrender unto him, manmana bhavad bhakto, and then in the end he asked him to fight. So the fighting for Arjun was not only that he was going to perform his Kshatriya duty. Fighting for Arjun was because Krishna wanted it. So it was more or less a devotional service. If he had just fought for taking revenge and taking the kingdom back, that would have been fighting as a Kshatriya. But he didn't want to do that. So Krishna spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita and made him fight thinking of him. He said, fight, but think of me. And then, and also he said, become an instrument in my hand. So that was completely devotional service for Arjun to perform. Of course, the devotional service for him, it wasn't just to ring the bell and offer incense and the lamp and the charmer and peacock fan. No. For him, devotional service was to kill. But this is what Krishna wanted. It was for Krishna's pleasure. So it wasn't just a Kshatriya duty, it was a devotion service. And he did it perfectly, he did it. So similarly here, Priyavrat Maharaj being asked by Lord Brahma to take up the position of a king, because this is not just because he was a Kshatriya, as a devotion service, they're asking him to become a king. And in that way, Priyavrat Maharaj was afraid that if he takes up these services as a king, then he will just get deviated from devotion service. But this is what Brahmaji will convince him. No, you will not get deviated. You will continue with the devotion service. And then he takes up the service of a king. And Prabhupada in the end says, in this age of Kali, there is no other way, no other way, no other way for spiritual perfection than the holy name, the holy name, the holy name of the Lord. Everyone should be given the chance to hear the holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For thus one will gradually come to understand his real position in life and be elevated to the transcendental position above the mode of goodness. Thus all impediments to his progress will be cut to pieces. In conclusion, therefore, we must be satisfied in whatever position we have been put into by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we should try to engage ourselves in his devotion service. Then our lives will be successful. We must be satisfied in whatever position we have been put into, whether we are in the body of a male or female, whether we have a job or a business or taking care of the house, taking care of the children, husband, wives, whatever. This is all ordained, orchestrated by Krishna because of our desires, previous life's desires, obviously, and our karmas. But now understanding that it's all arranged by Krishna and this is my responsibility. If I carry it out properly, it will please Krishna. But at the same time, we have to be engaged in devotional service. So slowly, if we do both of them perfectly, properly, Krishna will be pleased, and that is devotional service. It's not that we have to leave everything, go to Himalayas or go to Vrindavan, then only Krishna will be pleased. No, that could be my sense gratification, actually. Could be. And then Krishna is not pleased. So that is why scriptures are important, and sadhu or guru is important to guide us how we can make progress. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I will ask you one question which was pending yesterday.
Sure.
So, first I'll give you a little background. I was just listening to one bhajan from Nidhul Krishna Shastri Ji Maharaj, and it was the lines where "Ye to prem ki baat hai Uddhav, bandagi teri kasam," right? And in that, I mean, his voice is so pleasant, so nice that he was also explaining that if you want to go closer to Lord Krishna, and you have to be, you don't have to be very, chalaki nahi honi chahiye, wiser. You don't have to be like that. You have to be very komal chit, soft hearted, simple.
Mm-hmm.
Just a question to that throughout, if you see Mahabharata, those Krishna instructing Arjuna, he was saying, see, many places they have played. You know, the Kauravas, like when Bhim was they were a kid, and he threw Duryodhana throwed Bhim in the Sarovar river, and all those things, and a lot of chal kapats Duryodhana has done during that Doodh Krida and all. And Krishna always safeguard uh, all five brothers and given them instruction how to go ahead and tackle, go ahead for a fight because this is the justice, this is the right thing you're doing. So if somebody has a komal chit, soft hearted, and he becomes simple, and human nature is that once he inculcates some habit, when he's habituated to become a soft hearted, very humble with everybody, and the world is not like that. It's very complicated. You get at every juncture, you get a person who is just uh, you know want you to, you don't have anything, you should be completely destroyed, and that's where the people will be happy in today's world. So how do you tackle that if you become very humble, very soft hearted? This kind of people are everywhere. आपको
Yeah.
अपने, you will see on your neighbors also, you will see in the offices also. कैसे करें
Yeah.
इसको? How do you tackle it?
See, soft-hearted or being humble doesn't mean that you get cheated. You don't want to cheat anybody, but at the same time, one should be smart enough that he doesn't get cheated. Even after that, he gets cheated. That is fine. Then he says, okay, this is Krishna wanted. But one has to be smart enough. So don't get cheated. Just like we talked about Pandavas, that Duryodhana and party tried many times to kill them, and Krishna protected them. But Pandavas themselves, they were not they were devoted, but they were not stupid. In the sense, do you know, now you're talking Mahabharata. So when this Shalva Naresh, who was actually Mother Madri's brother, he comes and Duryodhan arranges different places to receive him, and he didn't know. Shalva Naresh didn't know it was Duryodhan. He thought it was Yudhishthira Maharaj has arranged. So many places he got received, and he got very much taken care of by Duryodhan. Wonderful hospitality. Last shiver, and Duryodhan came to see him. And Shalnadesh was surprised. He thought, oh, I thought it was Yudhishthira who had arranged. And Duryodhan said, well, I just wanted to serve you. He was cunning. So Shalnadesh said, okay, but now you have to ask me for something. I cannot just leave, fight against you without giving you some benediction. So Karna asked him that you please become my charioteer. Krishna is charioteer of Arjun. I need an equally qualified charioteer. So now he was in a dilemma because he had come to fight against Kauravas. So, but as a Kshatriya, he had given his word, so he agreed. But then he said, I have to go meet Yudhishthira Maharaj first. So he went to see Yudhishthira and explained the whole situation, what had happened. Yudhishthira Maharaj, but he said, it's not a Yudhishthira Maharaj. He was humble, he was devoted, but he was also a king. It's a Kshatriya. So he has to deal with things accordingly. So he told Shalmanesh, okay, because you have given your word, I cannot ask you to break your promise, but when you become charioteer of Karna, you speak to him, and when Karna and Arjun fight, you speak to Karna in such a way that you lower his morale for fighting against Arjun. You just discourage him, motivate him completely down, just bring him down, bring down his low morale to completely down. So he just gets afraid of Arjun. So it's not that the Kshatriyas or devotees should be stupid, that anybody and everybody can take advantage of them. Krishna is always there to protect. But as it is said that have faith in Krishna, but still lock your car. We don't want Krishna to come and protect my car because I'm stupid and I didn't lock my car. Is that okay?
That's really good explanation, Prabhuji. And I believe one thing I understood just now, that Krishna showed both the ways. That one side you come to me with a soft heart, with very humble attitude, everything, and on the other side he has also shown that when you are, if somebody try to mess around with you or try to make you look like a stupid or something, how you should safeguard yourself. He has given that example in
Yeah.
Mahabharata.
Yeah.
That's really good. Thank you so much.
But at the same time, we don't want to cheat people. This is not what devotees are. But we want
Yes,
to protect
absolutely.
ourselves. We want to protect ourselves. That's all.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, so I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful and safe day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Jai Shri.